Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Fridays with the Wave. I'm Mark Healey, the editor-in-chief of the Wave newspaper, Rockaway's newspaper since 1893. We've got a great issue on tap this week, and I wanted to just say a couple of things. I wanted to show you the cover, which is Be Our Guest. We feature John and his great staff at La Sorrentina, our neighbors down here on Beach 129th Street. We also had a chat with the interim rabbi over at West End Temple, Rabbi Dennis Ross. We had a nice little conversation with him. And we also had the opportunity, I sat down with the new CO of the 100th Precinct, Carlos Fabara, Captain Carlos Fabara. Myself and community editor Ray Vance sat down with the new CO, and we wanted to talk about this is his first command, so we wanted to talk about, get to know him a little bit, and we did a nice little interview with him, and that's in our paper as well. I did want to touch on a couple of things before we really get cooking here. Wave Makers this week is one of my favorites, my buddy Walker Hornung. Walker, as you know, great musician here, plays in all the venues in Rockaway. His also the co-writer of the Riding the Wave song, intro song that we do on our podcast. So he performs it. He's amazing. Walker's amazing. So it's a really interesting wave maker this week that Kerry Murtha put together. But I wanted to talk about this week's editorial. And, it's something that we talk about on a basis, great cartoon once again from Thomas Kerr. We talk a lot about how this election is important, right? We talk about how the presidential campaign and the race is critical moving forward, and I totally agree. Certainly every vote, though, is critical. And if you read the Wave on a regular basis, you know how I feel about it. You know how we feel about it. Every single vote, when you look at the Queen's DA vote, you look at the vote that basically cost Joe Crowley the ability to be the Speaker of the House. You look at, these are votes that are determined by, tiny amounts. And that's really because people are not voting the way they used to. Apathy is really the mandate now. And no matter how we talk about or we, use social media to communicate what we think, at the end of the day, unless you vote, you're really not doing anything other than blowing hot air. It's the truth. I've had people tell me, well, I posted on Facebook how I feel about this. Well, really, that's great. I mean, I post on Facebook all the time. It doesn't mean that it does anything other than either alienate people or to, illustrate to others that you all agree. That's great. Well, it's useless. And it's selfish. And really, at the end of the day, what you should be doing is just that, doing things. There is no excuse, and that's what the editorial talks about. There's early voting. You can request an absentee ballot. You can, starting, I believe, October 24th, you can go to the Rockaway YMCA and vote in person. And in the editorial, which is available online as well at rockawave.com, you can, simply click on the different things that are there, and you can sign up right now for an absentee ballot. You can also read where the schedule for the early voting, and there really is no excuse, folks. This is a time in our lives where we have to start not just exercising our constitutional right for ourselves, but to teach our children, to empower our friends and say, look, we can sit here and we can talk about how much we don't like that guy. We can talk about how much we don't like this person. We can post on Facebook about whatever, this is fake news or that's fake news. At the end of the day, folks, your vote is real. And it speaks volumes as to our democracy. And if you're not voting, you're elections have consequences. You know, I know it's something that we saw on the West Wing, and they talked about it, and it's something that people tweet about on Twitter. It's something people, say, or they have little memes about them. But at the end of the day, they do have consequences. I've had people tell me all the time, oh, how did this guy de Blasio get in? I can't stand de Blasio. Really? Well, you know why he got in? Because 75% of the electorate stayed home. 75%. Now look, I don't know enough about Nicole Malliotakis to say that, she would have done a worse job than Bill de Blasio. She's running for Congress right now against Max Rose, and I've heard some of the things that she's had to say. And I got to be honest, I don't think she would have done as worse a job as Bill de Blasio has done. But we only have ourselves to blame. 75% of the electorate stayed home. And when the next day, when he talked about when he won his re-election, the next day all he talked about was there's a clear mandate. No, there isn't. The only clear mandate was apathy. But again, elections have consequences. So it's really important, I think, for us to stop talking about voting and stop posting on social media about the things that we want to accomplish and actually do them. So please vote and definitely take advantage of the early voting that we're going to have here in Rockaway at the Rockaway YMCA in Arverne. And you're also going to be able to obviously vote in your polling places on election day. Get out and vote. That's the only way that we're going to be able to really take advantage of the freedoms and the ability to change our lives that our country really allows us to do. And it really, it's almost criminal that we don't exercise that more often. But back to our front page. I don't know if anyone here that listens has gone to La Sorrentina and has met John and his staff, but they are fantastic people. And we're so proud and privileged to have them as one of our advertising partners that have helped us through this pandemic. Certainly have done a wonderful job since moving here about a year ago to Beach 129th Street. You have Jameson's, you have Pico, you have all these different places, Bungalow Bar, the Rockaway Hotel is open, all the different goodies, barbecue. You've got Chemo's Kitchen, you got all these places, Rockaway Roasters. With indoor dining now being available, with people trying to support our indoor dining, to support our restaurants and other places that serve food, please follow the rules. Okay? There's a time to be there's a time to be like, I'm not going to wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. There's a time for that. Now is not the time. And I'm not condoning it. I'm saying that I know that there are people who won't wear a mask because they feel that it's government trying to tell them what to do. Well, I got news for you. If you don't wear a mask and you go to one of these places that you're trying to support, you're going to get them shut down, or you're going to get them fined thousands of dollars because you felt that you didn't want to wear a mask. Here's an idea. Stay home. Get delivery. Get takeout. But don't put the businesses that we're trying to get back to business to support, don't put them in a position where they have to ask you to leave and then be arrogant about it. I know people here want their individual freedom. I get it. I'm right there with you. I want my individual freedom too. I don't want to wear a mask. I hate it. I got glasses. You know what happens when you wear glasses and you got a mask on? You get fogged up. I feel like I'm 15 years old again. Having to wipe my glasses every 50 seconds because I'm wearing a mask. So get me. Trust me. I understand. You don't want to wear a mask, but you are my mom, God rest, used to say, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. And that's what we do sometimes when we think that we're being, mavericks and I'm not going to wear a mask, but then you're going to hurt the people that you're trying to help. So please follow the rules. Let's support our businesses, our restaurants, places like places like La Sorrentina that make an amazing peppers and eggs hero, my personal favorite. But really, let's try to really do our part to make sure that indoor dining increases as much as possible moving forward. 25%, I know it's not great to start, but it's a start. And let's be honest, folks, we need to start getting back to business. I know that everyone's rhetoric now is different. You know, the president reported last night that he has COVID, his wife has COVID. I know that, you know, it's a political football now, COVID, and how we're going to deal with it. I know people are complaining about the governor. I know people are complaining about the mayor. And look, I get it. I get it. I feel like government has too much power right now. I get it. But we also have to take advantage of the opportunities that present ourselves. And instead of complaining about everything all the time, let's do something that moves us forward. Let's say, okay, 25% is a place to start. Let's take advantage of it. Let's help these businesses as much as we possibly can. Okay? One other thing I wanted to, you know, address is that the Broad Channel Civic met for the first time. Our friends in Broad Channel met for the first time in public last week, and our Allison Case, our digital editor, was there for that. And you know, it's important, I think, really. You know, one of the members of our advisory board mentioned to me how much they miss personal contact with people. We recently got together ourselves with our advisory board at the chef's table on Beach 116th Street, and we had a great breakfast. Fantastic. Chef Reinhardt came out and talked to us and welcomed us to the chef's table, which was just so good. It's you know, the message was, it's better for us to meet in person. We haven't met in person for, you know, since March, and so it's empowering. It's healing. And I'm so glad that the Broad Channel Civic decided to meet in person. And I think that there was an energy there, Allison told me. There was an energy there. The new CO was there as well from the 100th Precinct to introduce himself. I think people are starting to get a little energized. I think that the key is to, you know, ride the wave. You know, ride it as much as we can. You know, I know we all feel like Sisyphus rolling the boulder up the hill again and again and again, but unfortunately, that's life, and it's how we deal with it that's going to determine whether or not, or at least how quickly we're able to get back to the way, if not the way they used to be, but whatever the new normal is going to be. It's always a thrill to visit with you folks every Friday. I look forward to seeing you out and about. And folks, you know, we're on Beach 129th Street, 438 Beach 129th Street. And, you know, if you're in the neighborhood and you want to stop by and you want to talk about something you saw in the paper or you liked in the paper that you didn't like in the paper, we're always here. We're always looking forward to talking with you and letting you know how we feel and how grateful we are for your support. Have a great, great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you next week here on Fridays with The Wave.